The world may be ending, but our edges will be laid, at least. It's a Black Lady sketch show, all that and so much more. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the
buzz. Welcome back, guys, to a Black Lady sketch show after show episode 2. Your boss knows you don't have eyebrows. I'm your host, Simone Thomas, and joining me today is my actress, my singer, co-host, Miss Neema Skye.
Well, I love that entrance. Yes, Miss Neema Skye in the building.
How are you?
I'm amazing, and I just really want to talk about this show because I have so much to say.
You're excited.
Oh,
even before we came and started filming, she was like ready to discuss. So we're gonna dive into all of that. Unfortunately, our two other hosts, Sade and Nikki, are not here with us today, but it's okay because we're gonna hold down the fort and we got you guys covered. Alrighty, so before we dive into all of the sketches and everything, I want to get your overall thoughts. What did you think of this episode?
Stereotypes on blast, okay? I feel like no matter what you are, what you do, like they talked about the scarf, no eating chicken, like
eating chicken.
Right, like everybody knows if you're Black, you eat chicken.
Yeah.
Well, that's a stereotype, but still, I just felt like it was just basically making fun of Black culture and like, you know, like trying to bring some type of comedy to it, but it was kind of like, you know, if you're in your feelings, you were like, wait a minute, I do that, so what do you mean?
Right,
so,
like, is that an attack against me?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was so many different levels of comedy and just talking about like the things that we even do every single day that we don't think about it, but it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I agree, and I like that they touched on stereotypes.
Yes.
And they also said that there is no right way to be Black. Like, I think it's Charlemagne the God from The Breakfast Club, and he always says being Black is not a monolith. There isn't one blueprint or template of how we all should act, just how like there are layers to you as a person, there are layers to us as a race.
Absolutely.
And they touched on that, especially in the World is Ending sketch, so I love that. So let's start off with the no makeup office sketch.
Oh, goodness.
You are a makeup artist.
Yes, I am.
You're an expert. Between the two of us, you know where the angles are, like where you should put the highlight, the contour, all that.
Listen.
What did you think about this scene?
It was absolutely hilarious because the stereotype is that if you do not wear makeup, then you completely look dead. And like people treat you differently. They think it's the end of the world. So it was so funny to see. But however, as a makeup artist, I'm not a person who feels like just because you don't wear makeup that you're dead. I think that the most important thing outside of makeup is definitely skincare. And I think that sometimes we really try to hide those things that we feel like is dead. But if you don't take care of what's underneath, whenever you put the makeup on, like it's gonna look crazy.
Yep.
So I think that it's funny because I think that in our culture, just in general, like beauty is such a big thing to, you know, the African American community. You know, like when it comes to our hair and our face, like we know that we have to be dressed to the nines and our face has to be the most complete thing. And just to see how Gabrielle, like literally, like the funniest thing was that the more and more she was without makeup, the more she was dying. It's like first her face looked like death, and then all of a sudden the IV popped out and the blood was going everywhere, and all of a sudden her parents showed up, and then the lady was like, okay, well, you know, we get ready to die. And then the funniest thing is like when she leaned over and she's like, well, I just want to tell you that I was eating your lunch. And then all of a sudden she gets mad and she dies.
Yep.
But again, like I said, it kind of goes back to the, you know, the understanding of culture is that makeup is everything. It's like if you don't have makeup on, people look at you a certain way, like they think that you're ugly. And I feel like it's funny because I feel like the natural thing in like the Black culture is such a big thing. Like we all big hair, natural everything. But still, even though you're natural hair, your makeup girl has to be on point. If your face is not beat, then you are beat.
And we're taught from a young age to believe that we're better looking and prettier with makeup.
Absolutely.
And I personally am not a big makeup person. I don't even know how to do it that well. I know the basics. I don't even know how to contour.
Uh-oh.
So,
lessons.
I know. You can teach me. But when she was going on about how she would feel dead without makeup, I'm like, that is so sad that we've been conditioned and socialized to feel insecure or less than with our natural beauty. And like you said, skin is the foundation of it. If you have clear skin, your makeup looks better, the overall look looks cleaner and more polished. That truly is the foundation. The foundation is, I mean, there is makeup foundation and that looks great as well, but your foundation is your natural complexion, how you take care of it, and
Absolutely.
learning to take care of that at such a young age. You know, we're still young, so
yes, always, forever.
You know, what's the saying? You're as young as you feel. So, you know, you're as young as you feel, but when you are younger, you have that going in your favor, so you don't have to take care of your skin as much, but don't rely on that because we're all aging.
Right.
And gravity is already working against us.
Pulling it down.
So do your best to really love your skin and allow it to thrive and look the best. But when she felt like she was going to die without makeup, I totally get that, because even when I never really wore makeup up until I started like working out of college. I always just didn't wear makeup to classes and stuff. And then when I did started wearing makeup to work, I would notice when I would go out on the weekends without makeup or whatever, I would feel some type of way. I'm like, wow, I never noticed these nuances. I always thought I looked fine. And then you get used to
the way you look.
Yeah.
But
it's a complete transformation.
But I think that it's, again, people treat you differently no matter what nobody says. People treat you differently when you wear makeup and your face is beat versus when your face is not beat. And then the interesting thing that she covered, she was like, well, I don't have to spend an hour on my makeup and be late for work. Like, literally, she was on time to work because she didn't put the emphasis on her beauty. She put the emphasis more on her work ethic. And it's funny, the harder she was working, they were like, what's wrong with you? Like, almost to say that our work ethic doesn't outweigh our beauty. And I feel like, not even just as a Black woman, but I just feel like as women, that's something that we are so heavily focused on. It's like, how do you look? You have to look beautiful. You have to look this. It's like it's putting so much emphasis on beauty versus putting more emphasis on who you are as a person, your mind, like other things. And then the funny thing was, like, Gabrielle's makeup was not beat. Like, she had like a basic face, but like her friend, she had on this pink lipstick, and it was just crazy. But then the funny part, like, let's really talk about this. So she died and came back. I was so confused. I was like,
I didn't really understand that too much
either.
I was just like, maybe that's to speak on how being that insecure with your own natural beauty is that debilitating and ruins your self-confidence that you just no longer are alive, like, at least spirit. I don't know. I didn't completely.
I kind of took a shot at the idea of that. Even though you feel like you're dead and you're gonna die if you don't wear makeup, you get back up the next day and you have it on and you keep going. Like, it's not gonna be the end of the world.
It truly is not. Like, I know I have girlfriends or whomever I've interacted with who's a woman, and they're like, wait, I have to go do my eyebrows if I go to the gym, or I can't go outside without doing my eyebrows. And I'm like, girl, like, it's truly, like you said, it's not the end of the world, which is also another theme in the next sketch we're going to talk about.
Yes.
But it's okay. And I feel like nowadays we're really encouraging natural beauty, and especially like for guys, I think a lot of times guys prefer when women embrace that. So you should feel comfortable in that, and you should know that other people also recognize the beauty in you without any makeup at all.
See, the thing about it is that it's nothing wrong with wearing makeup, but when you make up yourself so much that people are not able to recognize who you are, it's like, and it's like sometimes I feel bad for these guys, because it's like, how can they really identify who we really are? If we're like always like super beat, like there's a natural beat, there's a dewy beat. Okay, I'm getting into this whole makeup conversation. It's just so much fun to talk about. But seriously, at the end of the day, I think it's really about knowing that you're not gonna die if you don't wear makeup.
Yeah, like, life continues. It goes on.
Yes.
And microblading is a thing, so you can never have to worry about doing your eyebrows again. So that is an alternative.
I'm down for it.
Exactly. I'm down for that too. Now, the next sketch that we're going to get into, it was probably my favorite. I think it was my favorite of this episode, was the end of the world scene, which we saw in the previous episode. And they primarily, last time it was about cancel culture. In this scene, it was about being Black and how being Black is multifaceted, and it also touched on the stereotypes that Black people expect of each other, and then dismantling those. So which suitcase, I guess, there were 4 suitcases.
Which one would be mine?
Which one did you identify with most?
It's kind of a hard thing because I'm a clothes girl and I'm like a product junkie, and I'm like literally I feel like if I don't have my products, like, the world is just gonna end. Like, I feel like I have to keep everything tightened together because
hair and makeup, or just like hair.
Well, even hair, you know what I mean? I feel like hair is like a part of our culture, And the funny thing, like, they were tripping about the fact that she didn't have a scarf on, but I think that I would probably choose the products because products just kind of like allow you to express yourself more. It's like, okay, I can wear my regular hair, but when I have these products, it gives me a lot more personality, and people can really be able to see who you really are.
I agree. But I probably wouldn't go with the products.
Okay.
I would go with the clothes.
See it?
So I would
that was my second one.
I would pick the same suitcase because
Right.
the other ones were Quinta's had
She had all the drugs.
and then
Robin had she had all like
first
the alcohol
aid
and
kit.
right. Yeah, yes.
aid
Robin
kit
had the
stuff.
first aid kit.
And then Gabrielle had
She had the dildo and
like,
the alcohol. I
so
was
she was
like,
a turn-up
yes.
queen.
She was like turn up queen.
Robin was the mom. I have,
Literally.
if in case an emergency happens, I can hold it down.
I got you covered.
Quinta was your
Let's have fun.
right.
Like I
turn up as well.
Yes.
And then Ashley,
was like-
she's like your girly
Right.
girl.
She was like, I just need clothes. Hello,
Yeah.
somebody.
And she was like, if one of y'all run out of panties, well, I guess you're gonna be coming to me because none of you guys packed that.
Right.
So I would select her suitcase, but I would if I could pick of the two things that were in there, I would definitely go with the clothes, just because. Well, it's kind of true. Your hair products are important. Like, if you don't got your products, your hair looks crazy.
Right. So your clothes don't even look. It's like you can have a cute outfit on, but it's like
Your
if
hair
this part is not.
a mess.
Nobody's looking at. And it's what it's so funny because like just within culture in general, I think that it doesn't matter. That's hair is so important.
Ooh-wee, it's our crown.
It is our crown. Like the first thing people look at when they look at you, they don't look. Some people say that they look at your outfit, but I really think that they look at your hair. Like they look at from like the neck up.
It completes a look. It polishes a look. And if I know for me, if my hair doesn't look right, I don't feel cute.
See?
And like you said, even if my outfit is great, if my hair is out of place, if it's just a bad day, my whole entire confidence in that moment just is not up to par. And it really does enhance your overall ensemble. So I agree. So never mind. I would pick the products too.
See? And then, now this is the thing that I thought was so funny. So they had asked her for a scarf, but none of them had a scarf in their luggage. I was like, I'm so confused. Like they made such an emphasis on like, okay, you're black and you don't have a scarf, but nobody had a scarf in their
Because
bag.
they had to choose one thing. And they prioritized first aid kits, alcohol,
Right.
or weed over the scarf. Just because I kind of get it. Like alcohol, if the end of the world is happening, a scarf is not going to ease your spirits, but having a glass of wine will, or smoking a blunt will, or having a first aid kit if an ailment happens. I don't know.
And she had like a resuscitator. I was like, oh my God, who packs that?
A mom, like she was prepared.
Oh yes.
If the world were ending, what would you pack in your bag?
I would probably pack some food because at the end of the day,
you're right.
I mean, water is so important. Like if you don't have water, I feel like you can't survive. So at the end of the day, when you're thinking about the end of the world, I'm not thinking about all these materialistic things that would fulfill the outside, but what's going to keep me living for a long time. And at the end of the day, it's nice, clean water for
That's
me.
true.
For me.
Yeah, you need sustenance. Otherwise, we're all gonna wither up and die. But the good thing is they're in a kitchen. But I guess their groceries are gonna run out because they can't go out to the
That's what
grocery
I'm saying.
store.
But water at the end of the day, and then of course whatever, like let's say it's just the world, and you still have vegetation and everything. Like you can still water those things, right? So and you
And
can find
grow
something
them.
exactly.
Alrighty.
Okay.
I will say with the whole scarf situation, I kind of empathized with Ashley because I personally like wearing a scarf. It never stays on my head ever. I
know.
don't wear a bonnet. Maybe I should switch back to a bonnet. But scarves, since I was a child, I would wrap my hair and it would just fall off. I mean, I still do it, but I expect that it's going to be on the other side of the bed.
But see, the thing about it is like, okay, I'm definitely a Southern girl, so I wear a scarf and a bonnet on my head.
You wear both.
I wear both, just in case, like, my scarf kind of moves around, like my bonnet is still there. And I think, but also too, you have other methods. You also have like a satin pillow. But at the end of the day, I think you're like talking about how big beauty is. Beauty is such a big thing in our culture. Like, if you don't have anything else, all you have left is your beauty.
And we are one of the biggest. Our demographic is one of the biggest consumers for beauty, especially in hair.
Yes, hair and makeup.
Hair and makeup. So
And fashion.
yeah, it's a large part of our identities and just us as a community. So very on point.
Now, did you say what you would pack in your bag?
Oh, what I would pack?
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, I don't want to say water, but I mean that is true. I'm gonna think of something different. I think I would pack sentimental things of people who are like gone, because some people are gonna die, just to keep my spirits up. And then we would need some like live entertainment, so maybe some games. I'm trying to think.
See, I feel like you can use sticks and stuff for games.
Sticks, girl. What?
Listen,
it's not caveman days.
But I mean, the end of the world is. Okay, it's very, like, you can talk about what the end of the world looks like. Clearly, their end of the world doesn't really look that bad.
No, their end of the world actually looks pretty bomb. It looks better than a regular day.
You still have wine and
that
food
apartment is nice.
Super nice. So I'm like, maybe the end of the world is all subjective. It's all, like, in your mind.
Yeah, like how you interpret it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, one person who was in their mind, their head, was Robin Thede's doppelganger, or the male version of her.
Oh my god,
in the wedding
that
scene.
Was so funny.
By the way, she's a cute guy. She's cute as a guy.
Yeah, she
with
is.
The straight backs. I was like, okay, you have a brother?
Right.
She's cute.
Let's find out you have a brother, Robin. Okay.
Right. Do you have a brother, Robin?
You have a brother?
What does he look like? So the wedding scene was between her and Quinta, and essentially he wasn't trying to say I do. He couldn't even get the words out.
Listen, let's talk about all of these different things that she gave him to say I do. And the funniest thing is he didn't say I do until she reached over and she's like, hey, listen, do you want to get some tonight? Mm-hmm. And he was like, I do.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I feel like culturally and just like, you know, in our generation, that's how guys are. You know, like, young love, it's like they will do whatever it takes just to get some.
Yep.
And I think that, you know, this whole scene was really talking about the commitment, you know, in our generation. Like, we don't want to commit unless it's to the benefit of us. But as soon as, like, I have to be with you, death do us part, and, you know, sickness. Wait, what do you mean sickness? I mean, you can get sick tomorrow. It's like, I don't want to be with you after that point.
I have to take care of you. You're a liability at that point.
What?
Ooh.
Okay, but again, I think that they were basically playing off the reality of what love is to us today. You know, it's not anything really serious. It's really
you don't
conditional.
Think love today is serious among young people?
No, I don't, because of course you have things like Instagram where, like, you can, you know, if you don't like this person, then you can kind of fantasize about somebody that you actually want to be with, and then, you know, next thing you know, you can get on a Tinder app and you can actually be dating a whole person because you're not, you know, happy with what you currently have. I think that technology and so many other things have kind of put us in a position to feel like we don't necessarily have to have commitment because there's other things.
There's always more fish in the sea.
There's always more fish in the sea.
I do think what it was also playing on was how I don't know how young they were supposed to be in the sketch, but how when you are young, a lot of times lust is what perpetuates or like strings you along, and that's what almost kind of clouds your judgment and you misconstrue it as love, because clearly he wasn't led or encouraged to say I do because he truly loved her. He was encouraged to say I do when Loretta Devine, who we all love, who told him, was like, do you want some tonight or nah? So he was motivated by lust and not love, which is the very antithesis of what a wedding, I mean, it should be both. You should be attracted to your partner, but you should also, most importantly, love them. So I think it was also like touching on that, how as young people, especially with social media, and there's so many options, and you can get bored with one person and DM the next, and a lot of times that's not motivated because you truly like someone or you know someone. It's just based off of like these like really lustful or primitive feelings that we have when we first see someone, you are attracted to them.
It's true. I mean, I think that covers so much, but before we get a little bit more deeper to the conversation, I think that we need to take this time to thank our viewers. First of all, we want to say thank you so much for allowing us to be the ESPN of TV talk. We could use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, you see that thumbs up button, click that, and not just that, also subscribe. Or if you're listening through iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, which 5 stars is the only thing that counts. And please, no matter what you do, please leave your comments, because we love to hear your comments, because myself and Simone and the whole AfterBuzz TV would not be here without you. So continue to keep encouraging your family, your friends, yourself to continue to keep watching so that you can see myself, Simone, and so many other platforms, AfterBuzz TV at YouTube and iTunes.
Yes, thanks guys. We appreciate your support. We really do. We love to see when you comment, when you just of you alone means a lot to us because we know that you guys care. So thank you. Keep doing that.
And talking about relationships and caring.
Yes,
goodness. I mean, so let's talk about whenever she got to her. So whenever she got to Quinta, which I don't think she really gave her a name, but it was so funny because she started talking about sickness. She's like, what do you mean sick? And then she was like, well, to have and to hold. Like, well, what if I want to hold somebody else? And like, these are the things that I think sometimes, like, whenever we get into relationships or not even that marriage, we don't really think about that. We think about, for like the temporary, the temporary moment. And then she's like, she also said yeah to black love, which was interesting because I felt like these are some of maybe the stereotypes that they feel like, young people do within black love, which is so interesting because I feel like black love has been portrayed in so many different ways, but from a young perspective, I think that commitment is a big no-no.
Yeah, and when you're young, you don't always necessarily need to immediately settle down. You should play the field. You should learn what you like. You should multi-date and learn more, because you learn about yourself through dating. But obviously, when you're about to marry someone, you should be decisive and sure of who you are gonna ideally live the rest of your life with. And
that was the funny thing, because Loretta Devine, she's like, ooh, you know what, both of you guys are made for each other. I see that you guys don't know what you want, and like you're basing love off of so many other crazy things like that doesn't even matter, but that's young love. Like, you want to date the person that's really attractive and that's popular and it has all these things on the outside that looks like real love, but at the end of the day, it's like, right, you're only love with like the thought of what that seems to be forever, but everything changes.
Those things are external.
But what about the bride, like the girl that was sitting in the audience and she had like the big hair
and like a helicopter shaped
hairdo. Oh my God, which is so funny because I also feel like there's so many different conversations about hair, right? You know, we go back to that, and then it's funny because of the fact that those are the type of things that we see in black hair shows, you know, and it's like, okay, we're walking down the aisle and we know we're gonna marry, and but by the way, we're also going to focus on the hair.
It's a hair show. It's a fashion show.
Wedding is a show.
Yeah, it is. It's a performance.
It is.
Love. But please love each other.
Yes.
First and foremost.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, moving on, we're going to go and talk about Invisible Spy. Which we saw last week and it continued this week. And my girl, Miss Asia Naomi King, who I love.
Shout out to Asia.
She is in Viola Davis's show on ABC, How to Get Away with Murder.
Amazing.
Yes, and she was disguised as the clone, or what's the proper term that you were, the recluse?
Yes,
the recluse.
Yes.
So we learned that Asia Naomi King was just a facade, and it was actually the recluse. What was like your favorite thing about that sketch?
It was so many different things. I think it keeps going back to the point of beauty versus like, you know, your size. I think that, you know, the first thing she said, she was like, well, I'm just so mad because I just had a baby, and the girl was like, you just had a baby and you look beautiful, like you look like that. But she was like, it doesn't matter because I can get away with anything. And it was basically going back to the point of beauty means everything. It's like when you're beautiful, people don't focus on, you know, those negative things about you, but you know, like whenever, you know, you're different, you like, you know, you may be a little bit bigger, people focus, like they don't pretty much treat you the same way. And I think that that's something in our culture. I think that it's just something within our generation that, you know, we always see that whenever you're beautiful, you get away with things. People don't necessarily see you as somebody like who can actually do something wrong. And also too, I think the funny thing about it is that she talked about seducing her. So it's like the pretty girls, they get away with things, like they seduce you, and then all of a sudden we go back to the point where you know, they're like, well, where is recluse? And they're like, she's right there. And like, the guys didn't even believe her. They're like, oh no, that's the janitor. Bye. See you later. And it's just like, wait, what?
Yeah, overlooking people because you don't deem them as worthy of acceptance or worthy of what you consider to be beautiful. But to go back on what you were saying about beauty, and the privilege that comes along with it, there is a thing such as pretty privilege.
Yes.
There are people who have sometimes gotten farther or have been able to make better connections just because of their attributes. And let's be real, like, we have no control in what our face looks like. That's all up to our parents. Right. And so even though you're pretty, that's wonderful, but you didn't work to look that way. What you can work on is what's inside, who you are as a person. That's a much better reflection of you and like your character versus your face. You had nothing to do with your face. And it is unfortunate that we sometimes trump or prioritize people just based off of their looks, and we overlook others who may not match up to what we think is beautiful, because we clearly saw that they were like, she can't be your arch nemesis or the person we're trying to take down because she looks nothing like what is that supposed to look like? It almost goes back to like, what is the ideal version of what a pretty person should look like, or what a bad guy should look like, or like whatever character, you know what I mean? We kind of like create these personas or aesthetics, and then if it doesn't match up to that, then you invalidate it. And they clearly didn't think she was the recluse, even though she was. Right.
And also the other part is that I thought that it kind of played on that, but I thought so that it was also a flip, because they were looking for recluse, like the beautiful girl, the girl that had all this beauty, because they thought that she was the bad girl. So then they also kind of pointed out the fact that even though you're pretty, you could be bad, you can be very, very seductive, you could be evil. I think that they kind of played on the two, just to kind of be able to, even though, you may look at the invisible girl because, she may not be pretty, or, she may not be like the same, weight. But at the same time, the pretty girl is also the person that you want to be able to look out for. And the funny thing that I thought was whenever they were arguing and she was like, I just want to kill you. I think about you every day, and I'm always on Instagram looking at you. And it's funny, but it was the skinny girl that was saying that she hates the big girl. Yeah. Of course, not knowing that the person that was, disguised. But, at the end of the day, I think that that's something that they were talking about that people go through. You know, you look at one girl and like you see her beauty, or you see her size and you hate threatened. Her. Right. You feel threatened by her because she represents something that you're not. Yeah.
That you don't have.
Yes.
And one thing that we saw in this episode was also about being pretty and the privilege that comes with that, but also being basic, because the basic ball, which like gave me all the feels. It was very entertaining, hilarious. You had your barbecue dad who passes out the t-shirts and doesn't start the grill until everybody gets there, so we're not eating until 10 p.m. at night. You had your awkward girl who says thanks to your waiter, you too, when it's like your waiter isn't eating. So awkward. Just all of those like social faux pas that you shouldn't do.
The girls with no brows. And we're going back to the bonnet.
Which one did you identify with most, or which one did you find the funniest out of all the acts?
Let me see. I really have to sit and think about this. If I was to think which one was the funniest, it was probably the girl with the bunny with no eyebrows, because I feel like no matter how beautiful like we disguise like we always want to be, you just have those moments where people just catch you like on a not good day. Right. Like it could be like your hair's not put all together, or your makeup is not right, or you have one brow like bigger than the other one because you had to go to an event and you didn't know. It's like, I'm not gonna see anybody. It's like the idea of you're always rushing and you don't want people to see you like at your best. So I think because there are a couple of times where I've kind of walked out the house and I was like, oh my God, I don't have this or I don't have that.
I totally feel that. And it's funny because I'm originally from Maryland, and there's a mall that we go to that's like the best mall in my county, and I always say if I go to the mall I have to look at some at least decent because I see someone I know. Yes, hands down. I was there 2 weeks ago. I saw 3 people that I knew. It's just
Were you on point?
I looked good that day. So
okay. See,
it was fun. But I totally get that. Or just like, what was I gonna say? I don't remember, but no, I totally get not being on point, or like running into an ex, and the one day you run into him,
because he has to see you at your best. Listen, you can never let your ex see you sweating. He has to see you beautiful,
have to look
because
better.
Because he has to miss what he had.
Exactly. Just like you are missing out on all of this, and I look way better. So, okay. But too bad. Joke's on you.
What about the depression? She was like, no, he talked about clinical depressed. And then, so the funny thing about it was like, the whole, so like they have this dance that they do. Whenever, the queens are like walking out and they're dancing. And so like the whole idea is to drop and then kick your leg up. And that was the drop. What is it? The drop. Yeah, the neck drop. You just drop and you kick your leg up, or either your hand. That was absolutely hilarious, like the clinically depressed. And of course, I think Robin was actually the person that won. Yeah. But it's so funny to see like the different images of people of how somebody is being clinically depressed,
or how they just express sadness. Like that may not always look. There are some people who are like someone can be depressed and you would never know just
Right.
because they're able to function and disguise that part of themselves. Whether it's through, because some people are stress eaters, like there was the carb eater. I think that was Quinta's character.
That was the biggest one I was going to make up. The carbs. It was like, you're eating carbs. Oh, wait a minute. I eat too many carbs. Am I depressed now?
Right, yeah. Or just kind of like showing those emotions in different ways. And I think the biggest theme that I've noticed throughout this episode was just like there multiple facets to like a particular thing. So like being
Absolutely.
Black, there are multiple versions of that. Or even like beauty, or what we think beauty is, it's not one standard. Or just even when it comes to mental health, it doesn't have to look a certain way. It does come out in different versions, and you should be receptive and considerate and emotionally inclined to treat people with respect regardless of how you think it should look.
Right. And I absolutely love this scene because I think that it takes some of the most negative stereotypes of like that we see with people every day, with even within ourselves, and it finds a way for us to be able to laugh at those things. A lot of times, of course, we know comedy is definitely directed to to be able to kind of help you laugh through your badness. But I love the fact of how he used some of the craziest stereotypes. Like, okay, we're going to have all of these basic no's and we're going to literally laugh at that. And also to kind of allow us to be able to identify like where we are in our life, or like, just to kind of be able to understand how we can make it better.
How we can make it better. I like that.
Yeah.
One thing that was not improved or made better at all was the lost mug, the very last sketch.
Oh my
because we learn that Ashley Nicole
so Ashley was a security guard, and then
she was
Quinta,
a security guard.
she was the work lady. We call her the work lady.
And Quinta was looking for her Killin' It mug, and turns out that she goes to the security guard. And we saw in the beginning that she already had the mug, so it was just a matter of like seeing how it was going to play out.
Right.
And then it was kind of like it was weird how it turned out, because we thought when I was watching it, I was like, oh, Quinta's going to realize that the security guard stole her mug. But then we learned that Quinta is a murderer, which is kind of like, it connects back to the mug because it said "Killing It" on it. And it was like a weird
But she killed
switch.
herself though. That's the thing. Like,
She killed herself.
Yeah, remember, like she took off of her.
Remember, because she was wiping down the area.
Yeah, but remember, she had blood on herself. Unless she was disguised as like a different person. But remember, she took off her jacket.
Yeah.
And then she stabbed herself, and then she laid on, the counter. I think the idea of what they were trying to say is that your local security guard at your office
is stealing your stuff.
And they're super nosy. Like, everybody knows a security guard has to watch the premises, but the security guard is also the person who's stealing your stuff. Like, they know where everybody's things are. And I just love the fact how even when we went on to Lena.
Yeah.
She was like, "Hey, do you know where where my mug is?" Because it's almost like people know. Listen, the security guard is stealing everything because they know where everything is, and I think that that's so funny because again, security guards are super nosy people, like to the point where, oh my god, like, because literally, like, Quinta was like, "Okay, well, I'm just trying to find my mug. We can actually move on." She's like, "No, girl, let's look at it. I want to get into it. Oh my god, is that you?" And then it just kind of went into a completely different direction.
Yeah,
but
switched.
It's like killing. Oh, okay.
Basically, hide your kids, hide your wife,
hide everything.
Hide everything, and trust no one. But the one thing we do trust is well-sourced and very good journalistic news, because it's time for news and gossip.
Oh.
Yes, Miss Neema Skye. She has some fun gossip and news for us.
Let's talk about the creator and the dynamic comedian, Robin. She posted a picture of herself and Issa Rae discussing their sentiments of how she came up with the name of the show. Ooh. She states that, "I came up with the name The Black Lady Sketch Show when I created the series because I didn't want there to be any confusion about what people were watching." Then she goes into say that she changed it to A Black Lady Sketch Show so that we didn't single out ourselves as the only one. Ooh. A means that we are one of possibly many Black Lady Sketch Show, and she says to herself that would be a dream come true.
Wow.
Now, not just Robin, but Gabrielle Dennis is also killing the interview game. She was actually interviewed by D.L. Hughley, who has a TV show called The D.L. Hughley Show on TV One. She sat down with him and talked a little bit about her whole process of being in entertainment. She said that she initially started off wanting to be a concert dancer, dancing with Ivan Ailey, and we actually found out that her sister is actually a concert dancer. And then she states how she's a performer and drama is her passion. But it was absolutely funny because she goes deeper to the conversation talking about how it is dancing at the age of 30. She's like, listen, I'm 30 now, and so, you know, like, whenever you're 30, like, those angles just don't hit right. It's like, you know, it was super funny. So when you guys get a chance, you have to go to Instagram and be able to watch the interview that she did with D.L. Hughley in her little dance. She was like, angles,
I want to watch
angles.
that. Yeah, your body doesn't move the same.
It
changes. Whew.
Are you there? Are you 30? No.
No.
Okay,
not
I'm
yet.
sorry. I shouldn't ask, but
I mean,
listen, it's okay. I still think that you can be. Listen, Beyonce's 30 and she's still breaking it down.
Look at how she moves. That's how I'm trying to look when I am dark.
Yeah. So, you know, Robin and Gabrielle are killing the interview game, and they're just giving us a little bit more information about the show and themselves.
I love that her whole focus was to make this about her community being Black, being like intersectional with gender and race, but also inclusive and not trying to marginalize other Black women. Like, we are not competitors. I'm not going to call this the Black Lady sketch show. I'm going to call it a Black Lady sketch show because anyone is welcome, and we see that in every episode, in every sketch, because she's bringing in queens from everywhere. Angela Bassett, Loretta Devine, Lena Waithe, and I love that inclusivity.
Yeah, it's a great element. So many people can be able to imitate what Black culture looks like, and it's funny. Like, even when, you know, we haven't got on the discussion, but we got to talk about this no chicken thing, because I feel like, you know, now, of course, chicken, I feel like, has been a big thing in the Black community for years. But as we get more into wanting to improve our health, we know that diabetes and so many other aspects are really killing us. I think it's funny that, you know, she talks about how she doesn't eat chicken, and she's like, oh my God, I cannot believe you don't eat chicken. But I feel like as a Black woman, of course, you know, we come from like basically meat eating, you know, backgrounds, but it's like, it's okay that you don't eat chicken anymore. Like, chicken is not the biggest thing. It's not like, you know, the Bible. It's not like religion anymore. Yeah. So I think that now, I love how they use this platform to, you know, to say that you can be vegan. Like, you don't necessarily have to eat chicken. Like, it's okay. Chicken is, just because you eat chicken is not the end of the world, right? You know? Yeah,
that too. Well, we're gonna move on from our awesome news and gossip. So thank you to our top 3. So last week we didn't get to include our top 3, which is of 3 trailblazing Black female creatives, and they are Miss Lena Waithe, Ava DuVernay, and Issa Rae. I think they are both respected and just unique in their own ways, and they've put a modern take on telling Black stories and doing it in a fun, youthful, fresh way. Ava with all of her work, especially like diving into the criminal justice reform system and how backwards and how much improvement it needs. And then Issa being she does everything. And then,
what does she not do?
Oh gosh, she's just incredible. And then Lena, she has the Shy, she has Boomerang, and as a woman in the LGBT community who is also Black, I just don't see a lot of people who would identify with her out there. And so she's really like paving the way for them. So what do you think about those ladies?
I think those ladies are absolutely dynamical. I love Elena, just because I've seen her before on the Genius Talk. I went to the BET Award experience, and so she spoke. I love how she's basically being able to, you know, use her platform just like Issa Rae. I think her and Issa are very similar because they are using their platforms for other women, you know, who want to be able to tell stories and be able to show people that it doesn't matter how you look, you can still be respected for your work. And I think it's so funny. I think that Ava's actually doing the same thing. You know, she was so brave to take a story that was spoken about in the 80s that was pretty much shunned on and like pushed aside, and she brought it forth. Like, she used her platform to basically bring freedom and bring awareness to other people and things that, you know, that have happened for so long, you know, especially with this man being wrongly accused. She's taking these things and making us deal with the forefront. So between Ava, between Issa and Lena, I feel like they kind of all have a similar platform in which they understand that it's not just about me making everything, but it's about using my platform to be able to inspire and help other people. So listen, these girls are killing the game.
They're changing the narrative, because had we not had When They See Us, a lot of people just didn't really, especially people of our generation who are younger, probably didn't even know about the story.
No,
and
we didn't.
Dismantling the perception that was in the past, and really bringing justice to the story. So I think people like Ava and Lena and Issa, they're bringing blackness to the forefront and doing it in a way that goes against what typically people think of Black people, and just making it empowering. So I love that about the three of them, and I love that about our special segment comedian focus of the night, which is Miss Amanda Seales.
Oh, Amanda is amazing.
Yes. So every week for our special segment, we are gonna honor a female comedian and just pick someone who is really breaking down doors and is truly an inspiration. And I think Amanda Seales is a representation of that.
Absolutely.
She's been around for so long, but I just think she's someone who's been underrated for far too long, up until recently. She does a lot. She was originally a part of Flowetry, and Insecure really put her on the map in front of a lot of people. And then now she has a show called Smart, Funny, and Black, and she travels around, and it's just like encouraging Black culture and knowledge and being proud of that. And then she has a podcast called Small Doses, which I love as well. She's just doing everything.
She's doing the whole thing. I love it, the fact that like not these women, all of these women, I feel like they're using their platform as activism. And one thing that I love about Amanda is that she's not just funny, but she also uses this opportunity to be able to educate people and allow them to think about things that they're not always conscious about. You know, our culture, like we just jump onto anything in social media, like anything that's popular, but she's like, listen, there are certain things that we need to be able to identify with, you know, culturally, generationally, that are basically affecting us. And so she takes those things, again, like the Black Lady Sketch Show, you know, we take the things that are funny about our culture, and she really puts it to the forefront to say, listen, it's funny, but at the end of the day, we really need to be able to look at these things. So Amanda's killing the game. She's doing it. So
she makes it cool to learn about things that we probably wouldn't go out of our way to learn sometimes. And that this show is also doing that for us through comedy. So
all this magic.
Yeah, all this Black girl magic. So we have a whole entire week. Yes. Until we have to wait again. But what are you hoping to see?
I am hoping to see some stereotypes about Black funerals, because I feel like a Black funeral is literally like a show. You know?
Really?
Yes. I mean, of course, like we got into the wedding, but yes, I definitely want to see some sketches with, you know,
there are movies about that. With
Death at a Funeral.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great example.
Yes. So yeah, I probably want to see something about a Black funeral, which I think that it's coming. I think it's coming.
Yeah. I would like to see a sketch about just being in a hair salon as a Black woman, and how you go and you get there at 1 p.m. and don't leave till 6 or whatever time. It's just an all-day process. Make sure you have your snacks. Make sure you have something to do to occupy your time, because you're going to be in there for a while.
8 hours. It's a full work day, okay?
It's far too long.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that, and I'm so excited we could chat with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Simone Thomas. You can find me at Simone A. Thomas on all social platforms. And where can they find you?
You can find me at Neema Skye with the last letter E, Skye, on all social media platforms.
Awesome. See you guys next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.